Okay, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we're going to look at a lesson that's an extension of what we've been doing with opinions and reasons and evidence. And so today we're going to do a few things, which I hope engages you and you have a great time doing it. And so the first thing I want to look at is our standard. And I'm going to pull my mask down because we are recording and I don't want to sound muffled, but remember our standard, ELA 5RI8. I can explain how an author uses reason and evidence to support points. I can identify which reasons evidence supports which points. Success criteria. Our success criteria and our learning target. I am learning how to explain how an author uses reasons and evidence to support points in a text and identify which reasons and evidence support which points. That's a lot, right? It's pretty heavy, right? Let's look at the success criteria. I am successful when I can explain how an author uses reasons and evidence to support a point. I am successful when I can identify which reasons and evidence support which points. So let's think about it for a moment. Remember, we've been working on opinion writing. And we basically started with the orographic organizer, right? Yeah. And what was our argument about? Should chocolate milk or flavored milks be served in school, right? Yeah. And so when we began to develop and think about that argument, we started formulating our own opinion, right? Based on some of the informational text that we've read. And so today we're going to do something kind of similar to that, but we're going to look at two books. We're going to look at Sora website, and we located a book called Separate is Never Equal. And we're going to take that book and we're going to make a comparison with what we've learned in Gallopade about what? Brown versus Board of Education. And so we're going to look at both of these pieces. And as a group today, you are going to develop an opinion based on those two cases back in the 1940s and the 1950s. Your group will develop an opinion. And you will create, or you will identify, not create, but you will identify supporting evidence that you locate in both sources, okay? You will be in a group, so it won't be so heavy. I will be facilitating and walking around and helping with the groups. So in about 30 minutes, we're going to get to that point. But there's something, I want to do some modeling for you guys so we can make sure that you understand the learning target and the success criteria. And so even though that learning target is very long, what I want you to be able to do in basic words is explain the author's argument. I want you to be able to find his reasons, and I want you to be able to identify his evidence, okay? That's it. Yes, that standard is very wordy, it's a lot, but we can make it a little user-friendly and shorten it up, okay? So remember, 3 important words today. Reasons, evidence, arguments, or opinion. So let me show you something. When we think of this word argument, what's the first thing you think about when you hear this word argument? Christopher.
A conflict between two or more.
A conflict between two or more. Okay, Christopher, anybody else? When you hear this word argument, what do you think of?
Fighting.
You think of a fight. Yes. Anybody else?
A disagreement.
A disagreement.
People getting mad.
People getting upset, mad.
A debate.
A debate. Okay. Anybody else? So, last one.
Two different opinions.
Two different opinions. Okay. So let's think about this word argument for a minute. Does this word always mean something has to be negative?
No.
It does not. I think our first perception of the word, oh, they were in an argument. We don't want to use this word as a negative thing because it's healthy to have a positive argument. There are such things as positive arguments. Ms. Kirk, what are you talking about? There is no such thing as a positive argument. Yes, it is. Because you can have a difference of opinion about a particular subject, topic. You may have a different perspective. You may think a little different than what somebody else is thinking about on a particular topic or an event or whatever the case may be. So let's just think about it for a minute. LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is an all-star player, and we give respect to him because he is deceased today. But he was an all-time favorite across the United States, right? Yeah. But so is LeBron James. So in my opinion, even though Kobe Bryant was good at what he did, I think LeBron James is better. I think his stats is better. I think his free shot is better than Kobe. And I just think he handles the court better than Kobe and many other players in the NBA. What do you think? What do you think, fellas? Give me your opinion. I think LeBron James is better. What do you think? But you got to give me a reason why.
I think LeBron James is better because...
Speak loud. Just pull off and speak.
I think LeBron James is better because of his moves when he played basketball.
Because of his moves when he played basketball, okay? You said something, Ashley. Okay, I'll come back.
I think Kobe Bryant is better because...
Pull it off so we can hear you.
I think Kobe Bryant is better because when practice is over, he still goes to the gym and practice late at night.
Who does that?
Kobe.
So say that one more time, Layla.
I think Kobe Bryant is better because when they get off practice, Kobe Bryant goes to the gym and practice more.
Okay, all right. And you back that up with a piece of, evidence.
I think Kobe Bryant is better because, like, he encourages teammates more than LeBron.
You think, okay, so what are you saying about LeBron?
I'm sorry.
I'm recording. I'm recording. Go ahead.
Because, like, because Kobe Bryant would, like, cheer his teammates up if they miss a shot or something, but, like, LeBron would just, he would just watch.
So you think LeBron just owned the court and he's not out there to help anyone, huh? Really? Okay. Anybody else?
Kobe was also all-time and he won many games.
Okay, he was all-time and he won many games. So pretty much all of you all disagreed with me. You all said that Kobe Bryant was better than LeBron James. So we can sit here and go all day about why these two, which one is better than the other, right? Are we fighting?
No.
Are we yelling?
No.
Are we using bad words?
No.
We're just in a debate, right? We're just deciding on, this is my opinion. I support my opinion with reasons and evidence. You support your opinion with your reasons and evidence, right? Okay, so always remember that we can agree to disagree, right? You ever heard of that? Agree to disagree. You can have a healthy debate. You can have a healthy argument. As long as you can prove your evidence, you're good to go. The other big piece about this is trying to convince somebody, right? Or persuade somebody to think like you think. That's a whole nother situation. You can have an argument all day, but how are you going to convince or persuade someone to agree with your opinion? Okay? And so arguments are always good to have when you're debating and discussing an opinion about something. And so when we do that, and I want to show you that an opinion and an argument, same thing. Synonyms. Argument and your opinion, same thing. These are synonyms. They work together. You may hear some teachers say argument. Most times you heard opinion in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. The language gets a little more sophisticated for you 5th graders, and we move from using opinion to argument. But they are the same. Do everybody understand? They are the same, all right? And when we develop arguments and opinions, we come up with reasons and evidence. Reasons and evidence. Why do you feel so strongly about your opinion? And what evidence do you have to back up your opinion? So, opinion, reasons, evidence. This is your facts, right? If you recall writing your writing piece, your opinion writing piece, isn't this what the formula was? Yes. Opinion, reason, evidence. We have to state why we feel the way we feel. And then we have to support it with the evidence. Now, I want to introduce you to one more vocabulary word that we haven't looked at. Can somebody say that? Evaluate. A lot of times we read articles, news articles, magazine articles, or even online articles. We're just reading, right? And most informational texts have some type of opinionated thought throughout the writing. However, some opinions can be weak or strong. And depending on the evidence that they provide to support their opinion, we as readers can evaluate and say, hey, well, that don't make sense because I read in another source that this happened. Or, no, I was doing some research and their research is kind of weak. They don't have all the facts in this article. So we have to learn how to evaluate things and decide for ourselves as readers, is this opinion weak or strong? Why would it be weak? Because it lacks facts, right? Why would it be strong? Because they have all the evidence to support the opinion, okay? And so today, this is what I want you to think about as we read our text. So I'm going to change my screen for a minute. Online, are you guys with us? You're with us? You're with us? Can I get a yay?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. And so look at this article. We're going to take this article and I'm going to read it to you guys. And then we're going to take our graphic organizer, which is one I've passed out to everyone. We're going to take this graphic organizer and we are going to identify the author's argument in this text, and I am going to model how to find 2 supporting evidence pieces to add to my graphic organizer. And then the last 2, you and a partner will identify. And you will write that in your graphic organizer. Will everybody understand? Yes. So again, we're going to read the informational text, identify the argument, and write that in that graphic organizer. And then I am going to model how to identify 2 supporting pieces of evidence. And your task with the partner will be to identify the last two pieces of evidence that supports that argument. Everybody understand?
Yes.
All right. Let's go. Sugary drinks can be unhealthy, but is cow's milk unhealthy too? Something to ponder, right? Something to think about. By Mike Oakes. Let me do this real quick because I don't want to stand. Here we go. Everybody had the article. All right. The debate continues as to whether chocolate milk should be served in school cafeterias. Many experts argue that kids shouldn't drink sugary beverages, but some say that kids probably shouldn't drink any cow's milk at all. Cow's milk already has some sugar in it, about 12 grams of sugar. Flavored milk can contain up to 30 grams of sugar. These sugars have no nutritional value, says Rip Estelin, firefighter, triathlete, and the author of the dietary cookbook, The Engine 2 Diet. And because simple carbohydrates are digested so quickly, Estelin writes, any excess sugar is converted into fat. Not only can simple sugars contribute to obesity, Esselin says, but also too much of them can lead to other health problems, such as type 2 diabetes. Some cities have started to take action in limiting the amount of sugary drinks people can buy. In 2012, the New York City Board of Health approved a ban on the sale of large sugary drinks. The ban was the first of the kind in the United States. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg was among those people who agreed with the ban. He thought the ban would help New Yorkers live healthier lives. This is the single biggest step any city, I think, has ever taken to curb obesity, Bloomberg said. We believe it will help save lives. Some experts go even further than just saying that sugary milk is bad for kids. They say that cow's milk itself, with or without sugary flavoring, is also unhealthy. These experts say that milk is high in cholesterol and saturated fat. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, P-E-T-A, argues that milk can have short and long-term effects on health. In the short term, high levels of cholesterol and saturated fat can lead to obesity and type 2 diabetes, PETA says. But in the long term, cholesterol and saturated fat can lead to heart disease and cancer. In 2009, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, you guys should be able to flip, also wrote about milk. Milk's main selling point is calcium, and milk drinking is suited for building strong bones in children, they wrote. However, clinical research shows that dairy products have little or no benefit for bones. Dr. Frank A. Oski, the former director at the Department of Pediatrics at Johns Hopkins University, agrees. The fact is, the drinking of cow milk has been linked to iron deficiency, anemia in infants and children, he says. It has been named as the cause of cramps and diarrhea in much of the world's population and the cause of multiple forms of allergy as well. Anti-milk supporters say kids get calcium from plenty of other foods. Estelin offers a whole list of calcium-rich foods to eat instead of drinking milk. He says that people can eat green leafy vegetables, nuts, oranges, kidney beans, lima beans, whole grains, lentils, raisins, broccoli, kale, celery, tofu, and romaine lettuce, to name a few. So what is the alternative to drinking cow's milk? Some say the low-fat milk substitutes, such as soy milk, are perfectly good. But there are plenty of other substitutes, such as almond milk and rice milk. Dr. Oski, however, says that the cow's milk is good for some. Calves thrive on cow milk. Cow milk is for calves. So, before we use the closed read strategy and kind of dissect what this text is, I want you to first go back into the text. And if I read any unfamiliar words that you did not know the meaning of, I want you to go back in and highlight those words. Because we can't go in and dissect this text with words that we don't understand the meaning of the words. So I want you to take about 3 minutes and go back through your text. If we read anything you're like, what does that word mean? Go ahead and highlight. Any words? One more minute. Guys, as you work in Estelin, it says Estelin. Estelin said. Estelin is someone's name. That's why it's capitalized. It's a proper noun. Estelin is someone's name. $30 seconds. Online, this goes for you. Give me a word. Give me a word. Any volunteers? Any words that you came across? Musa, I'll start with you. Anemia. Anemia. Let's look at that. Anemia. What page are you on? Page 2. What paragraph? Page 2, paragraph 2. If I had to decode this word, how could I decode this word? Let's listen to the syllables for a minute. Anemia. How many syllables do you hear? Anemia. Anemia. I hear 4. Okay, so if I needed to decode this word, let's see. So the word is anemia. Based on what you see around the word, let's read the sentence. Most times, so let's read the sentence before and after. Let's go back in and see if we can use the context clues to identify the meaning, and then we'll separate it in syllables and decode the word. So, Dr. Frank A. Olsky, the former director at the Department of Pediatrics at Johns Hopkins University, agrees. The fact is, the drinking of cow milk has been linked to iron deficiency, anemia in infants and children, he says. So what could you assume, what could you infer that word means? I see something that says an iron deficiency. Think of that word deficiency. Where have you heard that word before? When you what? When you get your grades. Who are the people who get a deficiency? Low grades, right? So associate your words sometime. So deficiency, I know that means somebody is lacking something. Low grades, you associated deficiency with low grades, but is that good? No. So I could infer based off me just looking at that iron deficiency anemia. Something is wrong here. Somebody's sick. Somebody's lacking something, okay? It has to be some kind of disease, right? Because they said the fact is the drinking of cow milk has been linked to iron deficiency anemia in infants and children. So there has to be something that's not so good for infants and children. So, and then look at the next sentence. Remember, context clues. Sentence before, sentence where the word is, and then the sentence after, right? Context clues, strategy. Remember that strategy. Look at the next sentence. It has been named as the cause of cramps and diarrhea in much of the world's population and the cause of multiple forms of allergy. So, you could infer, based on what you read before and after where the word is located in a sentence, you could infer that this is something bad. It has to do with some type of illness that kids and children get if they drink cow's milk, okay? So remember, when you're highlighting words, go back and use your context clue strategy. Sentences before, where the word sits, sentence after. You're looking at how many sentences to obtain the meaning of the word? 3 sentences. Remember, that is one of our strategies. So let's look at the word anemia real quick. Decode. You want to say anemia. Anemia. A lot of times when we're trying to decode the words, we must remember our sounds and how letters blend together. Remember that, Jeremiah? Anemia. Is there another word?
Page 1, paragraph 9, cholesterol.
And I'm going to take one more word and we're going to move on. Page what?
Page 1, paragraph 9.
Did you say this?
Yes.
Cholesterol. 3 experts say that milk is high in cholesterol and saturated fat. What did you infer? People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, argues that milk can have short and long-term effects on health. What did you infer? I can't hear you. No one can hear you. You have to speak louder.
They treat animals.
These experts say that milk is high in cholesterol and saturated fat. What's in the milk?
Medicine.
It didn't say medicine.
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol and what else?
It's
Saturated what?
fat.
So what is fat? Is fat good for you? Okay, so you can infer what based on what's in the sentence?
Cholesterol and fat.
Cholesterol and saturated fat is what? Somebody help her out. Cholesterol and saturated fat is what?
Not good for you.
It's not good. It's not good for you because it does what? It tells you what? It has what?
Short and long
And it high levels of cholesterol and saturated fat can lead to what?
diabetes.
You have to reread, sweetheart. The meanings are in the paragraphs. They don't put words in the writing and leave you guessing. That's why it's very important to go back, reread those sections where those words are kind of confusing or unfamiliar to you. Any other word? I saw this word highlighted on several papers. How many people highlighted their word? I saw quite a few. Just say, hey, I underlined it. It's not a big deal because you underlined it. That means you don't know what it means. So, what? I hear something in this word. If you had to pronounce it, Kirk, how would you say this word? Say it louder so everybody can hear it because we're sounding it out. We're trying to decode it. So if you looked at this word, how would you call this word? Huh? Okay, triathlete. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, how would you say it? Trinity, how would you say it?
Triathlete.
Wow, I can't believe somebody don't see that. Adrian, what do you see in this word?
Triathlete.
I see try, T-R-I.
Oh.
Don't you see try? Decode, you guys. Try. Is try a prefix or a suffix? A prefix. So what does try mean?
Three.
It means 3. What other words are associated with try? Triangle. How many sides do a triangle have?
3.
What else do you know about this prefix? Try. Where else have you heard this word? Tricycle, right? How many wheels does a tricycle have?
3.
So we know that this prefix try means what?
3.
What other word do we see?
Athlete.
We see athlete. How do I break that up? Athlete. Tri-athlete. Everybody say it. Tri-athlete. We just decoded the word. Everybody got it?
Yes.
So when you're reading, even when you're taking the Georgia milestones and you come across words that's unfamiliar to you as you're reading those informational texts, jot it down on the side on a piece of paper and quickly try to decode it. Look for word parts, small word parts. If you looked at that, you should have automatically said to yourself, TRI, that's try. Like tricycle, like triangle, that's try by itself. Now, what is the other part of this word? Athlete. We're all familiar with that word, athlete. Try, athlete. Everybody got it? Remember your decoding skills, okay? So let's move on because we're going to run out of time. So now, I have my chart, right? Author's argument and supporting evidence, right? So I need to locate the argument. What is my author's argument? What is his name? Mike Oakes. Mike Oakes feels some kind of way about something. And it's cow's milk, right? Is it directly stated in the article what his argument is about? What is he upset about? So let's go back and look. I want us to try to locate the argument. I'm listening.
I think the argument should whether chocolate milk should be served in school cafeterias.
Okay, the debate continues as to whether chocolate milk should be served in school cafeterias. Many experts argue that kids shouldn't drink sugary beverages. Didn't they give us a clue?
Yes.
What was the clue? What word in there should have triggered your thought to identify the author's argument? Argue. So, many experts what?
Argue.
That what?
Sugary beverages.
So we've located the author's argument, and I'm going to place that here. Many experts argue that kids should not, I'll just squeeze it in here, should not drink sugary beverages. That is the author's argument. Many experts argue that kids should not drink sugary beverages. You don't have to write that in yours because you're going to need yours. Well, that's fine. You can go ahead. Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead and jot it down in there. Many experts argue that kids should not drink sugary beverages. Now, how many pieces of evidence do we need based on this graphic organizer? 4. Online, are you guys following? Do you see the graphic organizer in your classroom? Many experts argue that kids shouldn't drink sugary beverages. Now, let's go and find some evidence. Why shouldn't kids drink sugary beverages? Well, cow's milk already has some sugar in it, about 12 grams. Flavored milk can contain up to 30 grams. These sugars have no nutritional value. Says Rip Estelin. I saw a lot of people underline Estelin. That's the name. It's capitalized. That's why it says Rip Estelin. And so you'll see the name throughout the text. Estelin said, Estelin stated, Estelin suggested, capital E, proper noun. His name is Rip Estelin, who is a firefighter, a triathlete, and the author of a dietary cookbook, The Engine 2 Diet. You got to read carefully. You You got to read carefully. All right. Look at one of his pieces. Evidence. Because simple carbohydrates are digested so quickly, Estlin writes, any excess sugar is converted into fat. That's facts. So I'm going to add that. And because simple carbohydrates, you guys, carbohydrates is sugar. After you eat it, it's not like a spoonful of sugar, but whatever is made. French fries, high in carbohydrates. It's a potato. And it breaks down into sugar. And if you don't use that energy up, it turns into fat. And because simple carbohydrates are digested so quickly, writes, any excess sugar is converted into fat. That's a statement he made. Facts. And remember, y'all got the paper right at your desk. You extend in your eyes, and the paper is right there. Where your paper? You extend in your eyes, and you don't have to. Right there. Right there. And you guys, make sure you use your highlighter to highlight that important fact. You may need that later. All right, so we've been able to identify the author's argument. We have been able to determine the first piece of supporting evidence. I need another piece. I need another piece of evidence. Let's see. Let's see. He said another one, real quick. Not only can simple sugars contribute to obesity, which is what he's trying to explain here, he also says that much of them can lead to other health problems such as type 2 diabetes. That's another piece of evidence. There's facts. So I'm going to write, not only can simple sugars contribute to obesity, but also too much of them can lead to other health problems such as type 2 diabetes. So I don't have to keep getting back and forth. Not only can highlight that statement, that piece of fact is important.
students, please excuse this interruption. Teachers and students, please excuse this interruption. We are still working with IT to scan our laptop devices. Teachers, we're still calling you down by grade level. Teachers, if you have not brought your district laptops to the media center, please make sure that you do that. I believe that's all employees. If you have a district laptop that was provided to you for this school year, please make sure that you take that by the media center so we can be scanned in as well. Thank you.
All right, I got it in. Now stretching your eyes when you got the paper right there. Why are you doing it? It's right there. Very good, very good. All right, so we got it all written down. Okay, so your task is to find the other two. I've showed you how to find the first two. We need some more supportive facts on the reason why kids should not drink sugary drinks. Two more pieces, okay? You and your partner are going to come up with this solution or identify and determine where these things are in the text. So, let me see. Layla, if you will, I would like for you to work with Jamesia today, okay? Christopher, just move up here with Adrian. Quickly. We only have a few minutes. You don't have to move a desk. You do not have to move a desk. Just move your body. Musa, I would like for you to work with Julia. Ashton, I would like for you to work with Fatia. Sir, I would like for you to work with Nevaeh. You all can put your big green books up. You won't need them now. Just need your papers and your phone. Jeremiah, I want you to work with Percy, Nolani, Currency, and Trinity. We all work on the last activity. Quickly. Musa, it'd probably be better if you could side by side. Right. Oh, he's right there. Or Jalea, you move to that. Just move stuff there, take your paper and come. I'm going to give you online. You guys can come off your mute. Oh, we are so close to the end of time. I'm going to give you guys exactly 10 minutes to find these last two and record them on your graphic organizer. 10 minutes. Online, you should be doing the same thing. My virtual students, please make sure that you are recording in the document, and you can come off the mic and you guys can work as a group to identify the last two. Come offline to identify the last two. Last two. Okay, I was wondering if y'all was gonna write this one or that, because the argue is basically a new argument from somewhere else, so you right on track. Right on track. Which one did y'all highlight?
I feel like we could put that on and we can use your argument.
Remember what the argument is, does not accurate. Many experts argue that kids should not drink sugary beverages. Give reasons why they should not. What evidence support why they should not. Just because these were back to back don't mean you'll have another one back to back. You gotta go back through it.
Many experts argue.
No, right now, same one. Did you go down? Okay, I got where you're going. All right, I'm with you. Layla, make sure I can read your handwriting. Make sure those letters, same as Miss Nevaeh. Make sure that writing is, where I can read it. You were. Okay, we're gonna move on. We're trying to catch up on the last two. What's the next one you're gonna write? Right, Peter said. 6 minutes?
Look at the back page.
You need to highlight, identify what y'all writing. But remember, many experts argue that kids should not drink sugary beverages. What evidence supports that they should not drink sugary beverages? Y'all wrote good and science, but how does that support what the argument is? If you keep reading through that paragraph, though, you may find something else. Okay, you gotta read through it. Read through it. There's a lot of evidence in these articles, but I only wanted you to be able to capture, I only wanted to capture about 4. I didn't want to make it too heavy. I want you all to go back into that paragraph and read further down into it. Read further down into that paragraph.
These experts say that milk is high in cholesterol and saturated fat. People for the ethical treatment of animals, PETA, argues that milk can have short and long-term effects, and the short
treatment of animals. Taylor argues that milk can have short and long-term effects on health. In the short term, high levels of cholesterol can lead to obesity and type 2 diabetes. Facts. Remember how to be facts. I like what I'm seeing. You got about 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left. You got about 5 minutes left. I like what I'm seeing. I have a couple of partner groups already finished. And I like how people are going in and they're locating evidence pieces that are different from others. So you all are thinking differently. I like that. And you're identifying the supporting evidence. I like that. Remember, all your supporting evidence is linked to the author's argument. That's why you see these arrows. All of the pieces are linked back to the author's argument. You gotta catch up on this morning. Read it for yourself. What does it say? In the short term, saturated. Three minutes. I hate that she's got this one big dog again because I needed to do something else. Okay, I'm waiting on one partner group. We have to move on. I gotta move. Remember I said 10 minutes. 10 minutes. It is now 11 o'clock. It is 10 minutes past. All right, so although we're gonna run out of time and we will not be able to finish our lesson, I am gonna end it. I'm gonna close it. And your task, when we come back on Monday, we're going to squeeze in some time as groups. And your group is going to complete an entire chart. Each group will be given their own chart. And you will take separate is never equal. And you're going to take the case. Do anybody remember the name of the case? Mendez versus Westminster School District. Do you remember that in the story? Yes. So you're going to take that story and you are going to look at Brown versus Board of Education, right? And once you take both of those pieces, both of those events, because those were events, once you take those events, you and your group, captain leaders and their group, are going to generate an argument based on what happened to those children during the Brown versus Board of Education and the Mendez family versus Westminster School District in California. You're going to take the information along with your group, and you all going to create an argument together. And once you create that argument, you are going to research and look for some supporting evidence for your argument. You're going to start with your Gallup-Page book because you have information in that book that speaks about Brown versus Board of Education. Okay? So we're gonna do a little even more research on the Mendez families versus the Westminster School District in California. So that is going to be our task on next Monday. Everybody got it?
Yes.
Okay. I need 2 people to tell me the learning target. You can give it to me the friendly way. I don't expect you to give me all those words. I need 2 volunteers. Give me the learning target and the success criteria. And one other person tell me what they learned today. Can I get 3 people to do that? I have to send my other 3 students out to Discovery. So 2 people. Give me a learning target, success criteria. Can somebody do that? What were you learning about? Let's go. You got to be able to tell me that. And sir, you can be the first volunteer. Come on.
I'm learning how to analyze multiple accounts of the same event. Or
Reading. I want you to tell me on top of your head. What was we just learning today? Can somebody? Okay, let's do this. What were we learning about? What did Ms. Kirk stand up here and teach you today?
About how cow milk is unhealthy.
What skill did I just teach you?
How to find the author's argument and supporting evidence.
Thank you, Trinity. Can you say it one more time for the people in the back?
How to find the author's argument and with supporting evidence.
How to find the author's argument and the supporting evidence. What is one thing you can take away from this lesson today? One thing, one positive thing you can take from this lesson. And we talked about vocabulary words. We talked about decoding. What's one thing you can take and say, hey, I'm going to remember that next time? What's one? Is your hand up? Go ahead, Layla.
That arguments are not always about negative.
Arguments are not always what?
Negative.
They are not always negative. Thank you.
And you have to have supporting evidence with your reasons and opinions.
You have to have some supporting evidence for your reasons and your opinions. I saw somebody else hand up. Fatia, give me one thing. One thing. Before I let you out to Discovery, one thing. Yes, sir?
the author's opinion or argument.
Say that again.
The author's opinion or argument. About
The sentence not sounding complete. You saying the author's who?
opinion about the topic.
Is what though? You're not giving me any action verbs in your statement. Go back and think about that for a minute. I am successful when I can explain how an author uses his reasons and evidence to support his point. His point is his argument. All right. We will end here. You guys can start packing up. Keep your graphic organizer and your article